Hey everyone, it's Tripl-L coming in to do the Shonen Roundup. This week I was able to read a bunch of the other series aside from Hero Academia. I read them properly. I have a few little notes, so it's just a Shonen Roundup because people always ask me what did I think about this particular series. Hopefully, if there's a series here that you are interested in, you'll get to hear my thoughts about it. For this week, I have One Piece, Kimetsu, Black Clover, Chainsaw Man, We Never Learn, Undead Unluck, my favorite one of the week. Well, top four. In terms of the new ones, definitely Undead Unluck. I'm really liking it. I really like the world building. And the good thing about Undead Unluck is that it's not the worst when it comes to the Shonen Jump lineup. So it'll probably last maybe chapter 50 because they'll have to cancel a lot of other series before they get to Undead Unluck. And I had like a very small note about Mashle. But yeah, let's start up. I was gonna start with One Piece first, but I think it's gonna be more worthwhile to start with Demon Slayer. And the reason for that is just Demon Slayer, apparently, I'm just reading on Reddit, there's just the regular stuff that happens when a series looks like it's going to be ending. I think someone also told me that it was ending. Oops, I couldn't find a tweet that confirmed that, however, so just take that with a grain of salt. It probably is ending, like within a few weeks maybe. But again, I just couldn't find the announcement. I'm sure it's there because someone already showed it to me like last week. Regardless, it's in the final arc. We know that much. Anyway, with Demon Slayer, it's an interesting situation. People are upset with the way things are going. People are upset with people dying. I've heard that there's death threats going around. I'm sure that's just the general death threats that get sent around whenever something's happening in manga. But in terms of just this whole thing with Tanjiro and Muzan and all that, honestly, given how it's going out, I don't really care anymore. I kind of just want to get past this. We've been with Muzan for so long now. And look, when Kimetsu no Yaiba has cool chapters, it has really, really cool chapters. But the reality is that the majority of Kimetsu no Yaiba is drawn out, especially the last couple of chapters. It's been so drawn out. There's barely anything that happens in fights for some chapters. I think when we got rid of Upper Moon 1, like really the level of content we were getting for chapters beyond that, it's just beyond a certain point, it's not that meaty, especially when you compare it to something like Shokugeki no Soma back in the day, or if you compared it to My Hero Academia, heck, even comparing it to One Piece. So that's just painting my perspective as to how I feel about these chapters going in. Now, there's an interesting thing going on here with the speed bump that was Tanjiro becoming a demon. When you think about it, it really is a speed bump. Now, I'm going to preface this. If we end up having a happy ending, I'll be happy. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with a happy ending where Tanjiro, at the very least, is alive and he gets to hang out with Nezuko. Already, we averted one of the worst possibilities, that being that Tanjiro never gets to talk to Nezuko again. He's gotten that, so that's good. If we go into a bittersweet ending where Tanjiro still dies young, okay, you know what? Whatever. You save the world, one life in exchange for the future of many people so that they can die naturally in war or famine or, other human things. That's totally worth it, Tanjiro. Better that they die by human hands than by a demon. That's the world that you've got in them. No problem. So either way we go with the endings, I'll be fine. The thing I find interesting is that when you look at what we ultimately got here, you had them beat Muzan, and then you had the sudden threat of Tanjiro becoming the new Demon King. And it's a cool idea, but then you have it solved within a chapter, or sorry, in the other chapter, it's solved. So when you look at that, depending on the perspective you take, that might feel like a waste of time, because really, what new thing did you get in Tanjiro coming back to being human? Well, you got to see the afterlife, but we've already seen that the afterlife is a very strong force. Like, did you think that Tanjiro's friends wouldn't try to raise him out of the afterlife? Did you think that was impossible? Well, no, not really. That's already a thought. We've already seen how active ghosts are. In a lot of ways, if it wasn't for the dead people, Tanjiro wouldn't be where he is right now. So ghosts have always had an active part. Again, it's a very wonderful thought to think these people pulled him out of Muzan's clutches, but it's not impactful. It doesn't break any new ground. What other things did you get in that whole thing with Tanjiro being lifted out of Muzan's clutches? You got to see desperate Muzan. You got Muzan have an opportunity to talk about Tanjiro being the chosen one. You can throw a little bit of a deconstruction in there. You can show Muzan losing his grip, but we've already seen Muzan lose. Muzan lost horrifically to a combined effort of a lot of different people. So his final rhetoric here is ultimately not impactful enough, I think, to be worthwhile. I mean, that level of begging that I'm seeing here is just similar to like the begging, well, not begging, but it's similar to the desperation that he had when he was trying to deal with with Tamayo's drug. So that's really what it comes down to. It depends what kind of reader you are, and it depends how much you actually care about what's going on here, how much you care about the struggle. Now, what the author was building up to with this whole Muzan situation in this chapter is really that one line there, "Don't leave me here," where he screams to Tanjiro not to leave him there. And what you're supposed to take away from that is that it just reminds you of what Muzan is. He is a coward. We've known about this for a very long time. He's a lonely guy. He's doesn't have many friends. He kills a lot of his friends, a lot of his followers, and he is horrifically terrified of everything around him. So that final "don't leave me here" is it fits Muzan's character really well. But did you need that extra little bit of Muzan? Maybe. It depends. It depends on the experience. Now, speaking of the experience, here's the other thing. Reading all of this one after the other, I think in the structure of a story, if you read like the last 50 chapters all in one go, it looks even more like a road bump. But you got to consider Shonen Jump analytics or Shonen Jump audience. Having this last little bit of excitement, it's probably just what the series did to keep viewer interest up. Honestly, that's pretty much what it is. Shonen Jump does some things with weekly serializations that I don't particularly like. It popped up in Soma a lot. That being that Soma had a lot of unnecessary cliffhangers that existed just to make people get excited about something, and then they just walked it back in the next chapter, or just didn't even talk about it in the next chapter. So Shonen Jump exists, or they get their little fun from making chapters week by week very exciting, even though in the grander scheme of a complete story, that kind of excitement doesn't really make sense. And that's what I think happened here, because you can imagine everyone got super excited when they saw Tanjiro turning into a demon. I'm sure that got a lot of people excited when it came to the questionnaires. But then you come into this chapter, it's like, okay, like it's a cool image, but like let's fix it up here. Tanjiro's fine. He's gonna come back to life. Everyone tried their best. So that's my thoughts on Kimetsu. It's the one that's gonna get the most talk here, just because this is the one that is causing a lot of discussion online. Honestly, if we're gonna be ending, I just want to go to the ending. This has been drawn out. This has been super drawn out. Ultimately, the conflict between Tanjiro and Muzan, all I feel the value there is characterizing Muzan, and at that point, you're characterizing a man that's already dead, right? That's what's going on here. You're characterizing a man that's legitimately going to hell. Like that, when he says "don't leave me here," it's because he's about to go to hell. So how much value is there actually in that? Especially. It depends on the reader. It depends on the reader. If Kimetsu no Yaiba made you feel a certain way, and if you respected Muzan's character, because Muzan gets a lot, then you'll probably feel okay with that. Now, in terms of general notes, with Kimetsu no Yaiba, I got some notes here. Other things here, I thought it was cool that Tanjiro was using his super sense of smell to assist him here when he points out that he could smell wisteria. That was cool. Again, it was interesting to have the deconstruction of the chosen one rhetoric. He was going to be the demon king, blah blah blah. That's just potential, right? Maybe we'll get a part 2 to Kimetsu no Yaiba. Maybe we'll find something out about that. I liked Zenitsu saying that Nezuko was his wife, and of course seeing her being confused at that. And of course, as a shipper, I absolutely loved seeing Kanao still alive, and Tanjiro saying that he is glad that she is alive. And of course, Inosuke was really cute. Everyone was really cute. And of course, Lady Tamayo getting some tears shed for her sacrifice. Also wonderful from Yushiro. Really, I look at it and I really like the final 4 pages a lot more than I like the rest of the chapter. Just because, again, it was so drawn out. That's the other thing too. You have to be really careful when you're doing one of those evil within struggles. Because if the struggle itself isn't compelling, it feels like a waste of time. you want to come out changed from overcoming the struggle, but this one doesn't really feel there. Just the weight isn't there. It's just Muzan trying to keep Tanjiro down when we all know Tanjiro's coming back up. Like we all knew Tanjiro was. But again, mileage will vary. Okay, we spent like 10 minutes on Kimetsu. Let's move on. Over on One Piece. In One Piece this week, we like, for me, it feels like a big thing is honestly exposition setup and pretty much the Flying Six. That seems to be the big deal here. Of course, we have some interesting stuff going on in the background with Kaido and his family. You had Ulti at the end talking about another family issue. That's why Kaido brought them in. Honestly, Oda's being very vague here. He's stringing us along. We know that Kaido has a son. We know that Lin Lin is around. We know that he wants the Flying Six to meet Lin Lin or whatever else. It's an interesting situation, but Oda's being vague for the sake of being vague so that we keep wondering what's going to happen next week. You know, it works for him. He's a pro, right? But it is kind of a little bit frustrating waiting week to week to find out. That said, the character designs, because really it is all about the Flying Six in this chapter. What we got for the characters here, I think they look really cool. I'm really interested in Black Maria, or Black Maria. I want to know what she is. I want to know if she's a giant. I thought that maybe she could be a fish person, but I'm not too sure because it looks like she has feet from what we saw in chapter 977. As you can see, a shadow behind the others. But regardless, the designs are cool. Now, in terms of general notes that I had for this one, the cover page had the sisters being reunited. That was super cute. Onigashima looks like an eclectic wonderland. I really wonder how the buildings here work, like who was doing the building. I mean, it really feels like there could have been giants building this, and who knows, maybe that's numbers. But it's interesting just how much of a mishmash of Wano culture there is. I mean, there's a giant sword in the background, there's the foxes there, and it's just incredible the scale of everything. Honestly, an eclectic wonderland, and for some reason it feels like that fits Kaido really well. Another thing, I love that Usopp did something, put people to sleep. That was great. I love that we have a costume shift, and it's funny that Kinemon's power creates new, because as you can see, a lot of people have their chests exposed now. It's just funny, right? It's funny. It's funny how that illusion works. We had Apu as the DJ at one of the panels. That was cooler than I thought it would be. And now going back to the Flying Six, I don't really understand what Pei Pei is. Like, I don't understand why they started talking about it. Maybe I missed something. It's just kind of odd. Everyone's making fun of Pei Pei. So I assume that has something to do with Ulti's power. But yeah, I don't know. You know, honestly, when I first saw Pei Pei, I'm wondering, is that her fruit? Is that a verbal tick? It doesn't look like it's a verbal tick. Is it her fruit? And I thought, you know, but is she supposed to be a dino? Because I thought the Flying Six were thematically dinosaurs. But who knows? Maybe that's just an assumption. But then I wondered, if it's Pei Pei, is she like the cat that gives good luck? You know, the one that beckons you or whatever? Or, you know, the one that Meowth is based on? I'm legitimately wondering, because they're just making so much fun of her. Another thing, the group is there for a family issue. Like I said, don't even know what that means. And, you know, with everything going on, I'm not sure. Does Kaido have a kid with Big Mom? Does Kaido see Momo as a kid? Probably not. It'd be weird if Kaido does pull that, maybe. But yeah, does Kaido have a kid with Big Mom, or does he have his own kid? It's an odd situation, and it's interesting that the Flying Six have a history of showing up when there's a family issue. I don't know, man. Gonna love to see how these guys work as we go closer into the future. All right, moving on to Black Clover. So Black Clover was a fight chapter this week, which is good because there's not much to say in a fight chapter. But I gotta say, definitely love the glyph system. I love that it's a power that integrates with natural magic. I love that that's a natural upgrade. I love that Magna couldn't hack it, so he had to go find his own power up. No, honestly, adding structure to magic using a universal system, I'm into that, because that makes unique magic even more unique. Now you can apply customization to unique magic. I'm all for it, man, and I'm really happy that Luck gets it. I want to see how far he can go. Of course, you know, as we become more shonen-like, eventually characters are going to stop being able to contribute in the high-end fights. You know, that's just, what can you do? It's shonen. But it was a really cool power-up. Unfortunately, Luck is fighting a no-name. we'll have to see like in future chapters how much more he can do. I'm excited. I would love to see a situation like that where everyone in the Black Bulls is pretty much fighting one person. So we get to see all their best stuff. I think that would be a great way to do it, because then you can even say there's an illusion that they contribute. But yeah, overall, Black Clover, I am curious just to see what all the power-ups are. And I'm very happy with. Over in Chainsaw Man, we had the Arrow Devil, or what I assume is the Arrow Devil, Chainsaw Man versus Santa Claus or Doll Devil. I'm really happy with everything that happened with the whole Doll Devil thing, because now it's pretty clear the woman is the one controlling it. The old man was a doll the whole time. I think it's also pretty clear when the old man says that he wanted one kid for pleasure, it's clearly the process of making a high-end devil. That's what that girl wanted. Honestly, really happy with everything that's been going on. Lots of interesting things. So in terms of the chapter and little points I have, we had the unique devil hunter, like the one with the octopus totally reading Makima. It was interesting that he implies that there's a bigger battle going on behind the scenes. And it's interesting to have someone state that Makima uses lower life form use drop. There's so many things that woman can do. And also we get some kind of power from the Darkness Devil, like one that actually makes sense, that being healing in darkness. I like that it makes sense, because the powers are so esoteric. It's kind of hard to try and figure out what exactly the Darkness Devil is doing other than establishing a cause and effect relationship. Let's see. I think it was also cool that Santa decided to play mind games with Denji, but honestly, it's Denji. Like, Denji could just say, I don't care. Or Denji could just remember that these people are pretty screwed once they've already been turned into devils, so he might as well just finish them off anyway. That's a Denji thing to do. Overall, I'm happy that we got a less complex chapter of Chainsaw Man. And I also like that Chainsaw Man got called Chainsaw Man this one. Okay, so over in We Never Learn, honestly, I didn't think we were going to be getting Sawako's backstory. And it's funny to think that we wouldn't be getting this backstory if we were in the other routes. So it's interesting how a side character got slotted into Rizu's story. But that said, I still love Ghost Girl. That little Ghost Girl, man, she's the best. She's been the best part of the Ogata storyline. Because honestly, like, Ogata, like, you're adults, all right? You two are adults. Like, leave high school antics in high school. But anyway, yeah. I think it's cool that we got more on the character. I like her family dynamic, and yeah, I'm ultimately here for Ghost Girl, and I guess to some degree Ogata. But I did like that. I did like just finding out about Sawako's life. But yeah, I do hope we get back to Ghost Girl pretty quick here. I think it was also nice that we had Misao finding commonality with Ogata, and I really hope that they meet soon. Okay, moving into Undead Unluck. So, man, Undead Unluck, still great. Still love the power system. I love how much the UMA is telling us about how the world works. I love all the cryptic messages we're getting. It's been fun. I love to see how Spoil feels about the Apocalypse book and how it feels about the Apocalypse rules in general. I'm all, like, even if it's just a little bit of a hint, I'm all into it. The best part of the chapter for me was seeing what Spoil said about its birth and humans. So it's really interesting to see how the thing that represents the concept of death feels about what it gave people. And I'm also very curious about a time before Spoil existed. I wonder what that time even looked like. It's really cool. I'm questioning when exactly Spoil came into being, and I want to know exactly what the original world without UMAs looked like. Because right now, this world doesn't have stars. So when UMA Galaxy comes in, it represents the galaxy. Can you imagine that? Missing such a critical part of your system? And that's the weird thing too, because even though galaxy doesn't exist, there are still asteroids up in space, given that a meteor fell in one of the early chapters. I think it's cool. And we also have UMA burning. That's also really cool. So now I guess burning is now a rule that's been added to the world. Look, man, I think it's great. I think this whole thing about rules and rule vessels or vassals, I'm into it. I'm into it. So also it was cool to see Unluck unspoiling herself. And what was good about this is that it was already shown that having dreams prevents spoiling. So that's an interesting interaction. Seeing that dreams are a thing, I wonder if there's a UMA that represents dreams, but I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. Given that the people in the center here are the people who are negating the rules, it's probably just an issue of humans negate rules in general. but it'll be interesting to see how that's applied to other UMAs. Although the clothing UMA, that must be the UMA that brought in clothes. Interesting stuff. And I guess more or less to close out the video, Mashle. So Mashle this week was unfortunately a lot of setup. It was just really just a deconstruction of the typical Shonen Jump protagonist, and then having Mash getting ready to like deliver some justice. And honestly, that's really what you're here for. You're here for Mash, just to deliver the justice. I don't find this guy as strong as Mash personally, in terms of like watching him, but still, it was a cool little setup. But that's really all I can say about it. If I was to add any other little notes here, I would say Gravity Boys had a really funny chapter this week. They had a simple plot where Geralt was pretty much catfishing another girl, but he ends up falling in love with her for realsies. And there's a plot twist that she's hunting him down. Yeah, no, I think Gravity Boys was pretty cool. Anyway, overall, we are 20 minutes in. Let's call it there. This was an interesting week of Shonen Jump. So the next round of Shonen Jump chapters should be coming up this coming Sunday. So that'll be pretty cool. Anyway, I'm very happy for the break. It let me catch up with a few series. Guys, let me know what you thought down below. Let me know if you had any other thoughts for any other series in general. I only covered a handful here. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching, and until next time, hope you have an absolutely great day.